YouTube. What the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I'm back in Total War Warhammer 2 on the beautiful Blue Reach River. You ever pick this map and you notice there's not a river? It's because it's a long ways away. I got the debug camera on, so look, and when you play it, it looks like the Blue Reach Lagoon or something, in like bluish green more so. But anyway, yes, this is the Blue Leech Liver. What? All right, tongue twisters aside, Blue Leech Liver. That is the new name of the map, in case you all are wondering. This is going to be a 3v3 team battle with some folks from the Discord. I got to play two. This is actually the second one we played. I'm going to show the first one. I thought I saved the replay. I'm going to wait and see if anybody else from the other group saved it too, so that I can show you both. But I'm guessing with 6 people present that someone probably saved it, and I'll get it on the Discord. So this is going to be a, I'm going to go ahead and put it into slow-mo here, so I don't think there's a bunch of crazy action real quick here. It's going to be Dark Elves versus Empire. And so we've all picked sub-factions, so 3v3 with 3 Dark Elf factions versus 3 Empire factions. And we did have the campaign exclusive units on, in case people wanted to use them, and you will see some here, so it should be a lot of fun. Let's start off with my teammates. I've got Regina and Reptile King supporting me. Regina had the Supreme Sorceress, Lure of Shadow on the Manticore, supported by a Master. High Elf Master. She's got 2 Crows of Cain Harpy units here. These are going to be some really cool Harpy units with some anti-large. And then for the rest of her army, let's see if we can spot everything else she's got. She's got a Blood Rack Shrine and the Ravagers of Rakith, I guess. That's how you pronounce it. I'll probably get it wrong. That she has some other light cavalry units that are deployed over here in the woods. The color of her banners is so close to my own that I find it hard to call them all out. Anyway, Reptile King is repping Crone Hellebron, and she has brought some Sisters of Slaughter to support her army. These are going to be potentially very good against state troops, so an interesting pick indeed. And then also some Dread Spears supporting them, and there's going to be some Scourge Runner Chariots in the back, along with the Cold One Knights, and I think all 3 of us brought the Hellebron. If not, at least 2 of us did. And then here's all that light cavalry for Regina. We got 2 Dark Riders with crossbows, 2 Dark Riders, and then 2 more Dark Riders here, so 4 in total. Lots of light cavalry. Probably not a bad idea. The Empire can field a lot of light cavalry itself. And then as for my army, leadership-wise, my leadership I think is posted up over here right now. I've got a Master supporting Marathi, and Marathi is rocking Soul Stealer and Soul Blight. So the ability to take hit points from the enemies and then to take armor and weapon damage away from the enemy as well. So Marathi is already a giant debuff in and of herself. I think right now the way she's set up, it would be minus 18 attack and minus 9 defense for anything that's attacking her within a certain radius. I've brought a ton of Bleak Swords, and then the Hellebron and a couple of Dread Spears supporting a couple of, 3 Reaper Bolt Throwers. But let's go take a look at the Empire forces we're up against. We have the Empire Expedition, the Golden Order being Balthasar, and then we've got the, is it Middenheim, I think, here? That's being Boris Middenheim. I get it wrong sometimes. Anyway, we got the Emperor's Wrath here with Boris, and then in the back there's a couple of archers and some handgunners. Warner, if you're watching, there are handguns, and some spearmen, a couple of great swords here too, so a little bit heavier infantry, and there is a Grey Wizard. Let's take a look at his spells real quick. Grey Wizard, it looks like, has some Melkoths and maybe Pendulum. Yeah, Pendulum, Melkoths, and Withering, Pit of Shades. And then for the Expedition, we get some cool Expedition units here. We're going to have 2 War Wagons, a Steam Tank, a Hunts Marshal General. Then Jorek Grimm is supporting, along with a Bright Wizard, and then there are 2 Obstinite Gyrocopters, a Knights of the Blazing Sun, and then just kind of some state troop infantry units supporting there. And as for the Golden Order, we do have Balthasar. He is supported by 2 Empire captains on Pegasus, and then also even more missile cavalry. So here we're going to have 2 Pistoliers and the 2 War Wagons, and then in the back some Knights of the Blazing Sun, again, as mentioned. But then we've got an Outrider with Grenade Launcher, and then 2 more Outriders here. And the other team, by the way, is Dovplays, Wicked, and, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget. It was the first time I'd played a battle with him. We had a new player in. We'll see his name at the end. I apologize that I don't remember it right now. Not because I didn't enjoy playing with you. I've just played with the other guys a lot of times. And he was new to the game and still came in and played with us and was a really great sport about everything. And this is why I tell you all to join the Discord. Join in. Have some fun. You don't have to be afraid. This guy who played with us was fun. He was jumping in with all of us who have played the game a whole lot, and he still had a good time. There's a link to the Discord. Join it. Please feel free to join us. Doesn't matter if you played the game a lot. We're happy to have you there. And I'll make sure and call you out when we get here to the end so that everybody knows who you were, and we appreciate you being in the games with us. Yeah, anyway, we gonna get this fight underway. It's gonna be a little crazy. What's funny is we both actually overloaded the opposite side of the lagoon here, or whatever pond you want to call it in the middle. And so we overloaded on opposite sides, and now we're going to have to all shift positions. Now, fortunately for me, a bunch of units pretty quickly come into range for my Reaper Bolt Throwers, and one of them is the Emperor's Wrath. And without healing around, any damage I can do to the Emperor's Wrath, I'm going to take it. And I do get some really nice damage in early, but then the Emperor's Wrath's going to turn around and go away. Now we've got that missile cavalry starting to mass on our flank along with gyrocopters. It's going to be a big mess. I'm going to go ahead and start redeploying some of my troops. I pulled my Cold One riders back, and I'm going to bring Morathi and the Master over here. There is another Master and then the Supreme Sorceress, all who can help me, and I'm going to have to redeploy my infantry now along this line because we're not going to get pushed. So I'll probably move it up kind of slowly in 2 lines and try and create a couple of fallback positions. You see the steam tank took some tremendous damage here early on, but now I'm going to have to really get worried. This cavalry is pushing aggressively because it wants to get within range of my Reaper Bolt Throwers before I can push it back. If I push out against the cavalry, I'm going to take a ton of damage, but I don't really have a choice here. I can't let these war wagons and other units stay within range of my Bolt Throwers, and I have to be very careful about chasing the war wagons and other stuff. I get overextended. Balthasar is out there with Final Transmutation, and then there's a whole bunch of cavalry. We do get a little bit lucky here. The light cavalry for the expedition gets just mismicroed for just a second, and so we get a few freebies there and take out some of their ammo, which is great. The problem is we do have a grenade launcher unit here, and while normally just kind of sticking up your shields and riding it out can be okay, it is not okay when there's grenade launchers on the other side of this. So I do have to start focusing my Reaper Bolt Throwers out here to try and get rid of some of these units, because my infantry is going to get absolutely mowed down by Obstinite gyrocopters and grenade launchers. And you can see the grenade launchers are gunning for the Hellebranai, which is an expensive target and a smart target to go explode, and boy did they explode it. So my infantry is paying a dear price right now. Reptile King sees weakness back here in the back lines, and he's already pushing it, and this could be very good depending on what he's able to get done. And then Regina's going to kind of help me hold as best we can here. Light cavalry getting very close again. We're going to see a Final Transmutation come in here, and that's going to hurt pretty bad for the Supreme Sorceress and the Master, but I'm also being shot by different units down here too. There is a Huntsman General and a lot of units that can shoot up Morathi. Morathi is tough, but she's going to have to be careful here, so I'm playing a little bit safe at the moment. I want to chase the gyrocopters a little, and I will here and there if I think I can get a charge, but I can't chase them for long, and when I do get a charge, it's going to be brutal. Very nice pendulum there from Regina, getting a little damage done. Anything we can do to the light cavalry here is going to pay dividends in the late game, because we can't have that light cavalry continue to shred us like this the whole game. You can see back here that the Harpies getting some attention from some different units, and then the Cold One Knights for Reptile King finding some soft targets, and now they're supported by Regina's forces as well, and he's moving his infantry and shades across there. Meanwhile, I am continuing to get pooped on here, but doing everything I can to fight back. We did manage to kill quite a few Pistoliers. There are 2 Empire captains, though, that I'm sure would love to get tangled up with Morathi in the right engagement, of course. I don't think they want to take that too prematurely. Sigmar's sons are going to engage me, and I've got to watch out here. Those war wagons are doing some damage, and even the gyrocopters. I don't have a lot of armor on these 2 units, so I have to watch it as far as letting Morathi get shot up. But anyway, I've been able to get some of the units out with my my Reaper Bolt Throwers. They're not totally paying for themselves here. And look, here comes the cavalry for the Dark Elves that came out, pushed them back momentarily, but now they've got Reiksguard and Zentler's Reiksguard pushing. There was a little engagement here that I go ahead and bring Morathi down into. I'm going to try and knock out some of their units early here. We managed to get a hold of some of these war wagons, and I wanted to get away from the 2 Empire captains who were not what I wanted to be engaging at the moment. But Marathi's taken quite a bit of damage. I'm going to have to be careful with her. Able to get a couple of Reaper Bolt shots into these Reiksguard, and that will be worthwhile. But here comes a burning head, and this blob is getting crapped on pretty nicely here by the Bright Wizard. So my forces are taking tremendous losses, but Reptile King's getting in a really good position here, moving in behind the Empire, who's still repositioning to face my main forces here. And we do have the Bloodrack Shrine and some other units that are back here supporting me. I'm able to get my Cold One Knights into the Reiksguard and pretty quickly deal with the Reiksguard, so that was fortunate with their spears pushing up to support them. Here comes Balthasar, and with Morathi being low health, if he's able to get off another transmutation or something, I'm going to be in bad shape with Morathi, and that's exactly what Balthasar was coming up to do. So Morathi is going to be hanging on to what little dear life she will have left, and there's a lot of things that can shoot her. Jorek back here, the Huntsman General, the Cavalry, so Morathi is in very rough shape. So pretty successful push, albeit with quite a few casualties for the Empire here. It wasn't casualty-free. I'm going to be able to get into the Reiksguard here too with my Cold One Knights. This will definitely trade okay for me. This is pretty good that we're taking out some of that heavy cavalry. Unfortunate thing is there's spears here, and at the moment my master was caught up in some spears. I am going to get him out of there, and fortunately Regina is able to get over here and tie down these Empire captains with her Crows of Cain, which very good unit for that, by the way. Reptile King's forces are about to get on a roll back here. There wasn't a whole lot of forces here, and he's now wrapping things up. His knights have a steam tank pinned down, and then you can see the Scourge Runner chariots just sitting back and firing into this fight. It's going to be a great use for him, and then there are more Dark Riders coming in to help with that fight, as well as Harpies, and as soon as his infantry gets in position, they should be able to cause some tremendous damage. Now, with the Harpies around, I was able to use the Soul Stealer to keep Morathi alive, and then turn on these Empire captains. We drove one of them out quickly, the other one got pretty damaged, and then I'm forced to retreat again with Morathi just because of the amount of damage that I've taken. But we did some great work against these Empire captains. It's just there is still a lot of missile cavalry just shooting up our flank almost continuously here. I did try and get a hold of a few of them, my Cold One Knights here, and I do successfully get to charge for a minute, but they'll be able to pull away from me. So I'm also going to have to get away from that fight. Now let's go back here and kind of see what Reptile King and Regina are up to. I'm kind of just clinging to dear life on this flank and trying to stay alive as long as I can. Fortunately, Regina's skirmishers are getting some work done while the remainder of my infantry kind of just gets overpowered in the middle. See Boris getting chased by the Crows of Cain here. That is definitely not a fight he wants to get mixed up in at the moment, because remember, the Crows of Cain are anti-large. So one steam tank down to the shades of Reptile King, so they've already come in pretty handy. One of the steam tanks is firing at a Scourge Runner chariot, and that is actually a pretty good target. And here's where the Sisters of Slaughter are going to come into play. They're going to do very good against all this infantry over here, so it's a very fortuitous situation for the Sisters of Slaughter. You can see we've kind of fallen back a little. A few of our forces still just going to have to sit here and die. Not a whole lot we can do about that. Boris really getting chewed on by the Harpies at the moment, like badly. It's a pretty even fight so far, though there are some things going in our favor, some things going in their favor. All these skirmishers and the cavalry left back here could be a real problem for us, but the good thing going here is the Emperor's Wrath is left too close to these shades, and the shades and the Scourge Runner chariot are just working the Emperor's Wrath, and it is almost gone. So combined with some of the damage I did early, and then a nice follow-up here by Reptile King, and then his infantry is just really chewing up state troops. Look at that, 76 kills over here already, and then 67. So they are chewing through a significant number of state troops. Boris is put to a retreat by the Master and 2 Crows of Cain. Wow, this is madness. I love it. The light cavalry for Regina is over here trying to find skirmishers, and they did get a hold of a handgunner. They're being chased by the Grey Wizard, who is attempting to keep them away. But there's going to be a push by a lot of Dark Riders here, and handgunners are not going to be able to hold out. Fantastic. They do get some support from some nearby crossbows, and then Boris is also headed that way. I'm forced with my troops. I only have like tattered remnants left, and I'm forced to kind of swing those troops around, and I want to come in behind Reptile King because he's kind of the only solid line that we still have, if there is a solid line on this battlefield. The Sisters of Slaughter are really getting some work done here. Got 110 kills on this one. It's going to help try and finish off some great swords. And then this one over here engaged with more spearmen, and it's going to start racking up even more kills too. The Scourge Runner chariots are going to come in and try and help support as well. Now this Jorek is going to be firing at Morathi a lot, and it's going to be problematic. He's got a gun, basically, and it fires quickly, and it's not easy to juke, and it does some pretty tremendous damage. And typically, with Worf is small and can't really see much way down on the battlefield, Jorek can, because Morathi is flying way up in the air, and it pretty much clears his line of sight. See some of these cool units here for the High Elves. Got an Empire Great Swordsman trying to run out of that bloodbath there that Crone Hellebron is putting on. So I'm trying to keep it back just a little bit so y'all can see what's going on. This is such a crazy fight. Such a crazy fight. So Morathi has gained some hit points back. I'm basically saving all my magic and just kind of continually pouring it into Soul Stealer to bring her back to life as much as possible. She could be very, very good at helping to get rid of Boris. So I am playing a bit of a cat and mouse game with Boris to make sure I don't engage him in a bad situation. But if I get a chance to take him out of the fight, I really want to take him out of the fight. And there is another master around that can help support us, remember that as well. So we definitely have aerial lockdown potentially on our side, but there's handguns back here, there's bows, there's a lot of things that we have to be aware of. Now, these shades for Reptile will be good in melee in the late game against light infantry, and they're still going to be very useful for us because of their ability to basically pepper armor-piercing shot all over. So Boris kind of overextending himself here a little, but I'm still hesitant to jump into this fight in case we get pounced on, but at the same time I'm kind of tired of just running around getting shot. And I see the other master here, and so we are going to kind of try and take a shot at Boris. We're faster. Kind of still do a little bit of cat and mouse stuff here on the charge. I want to look for the absolutely ideal. Let's see, Boris gets forced to turn tail. So now we're going to put the chase on strong. And we do have speed on our side with these Dark Pegasi. Just faster units. So we're going to be able to put a little bit of damage on Boris, but he's going to retreat back to the support of his missiles, and this is a really good call. Now on this flank, I do have a couple of regrouped infantry that I will bring in later, but right now it's basically just being pushed on out. There's a Shadow Sorceress and a Blood-Racked Shrine, and everything is just kind of being pushed off the battlefield, along with Crone Hellebron, who was lost to Balthasar right there. So Balthasar putting Crone Hellebron off the battlefield. Our Crows of Cain are getting weak at this point too. Could be very helpful at pinning down missile units late. Here's where the Shades are going to really come out clutch for us with their ammunition left. They're able to get in here and really cause some significant damage, and we need this. Anything from the Empire that has ammo, the Shades are helping to deal with, and it is absolutely clutch. Look at this, 190 kills on the Sisters of Slaughter here. Just really impressive work on their part. This is a great unit, like I said, to be getting into a late game engagement with the Empire. Kind of join back to Morathi and the Master here. You can see Boris kind of pushing up again. He wants to support against the Shades, and if Boris kind of shoots the charge here, and I'm able to countercharge with Morathi and the Master, then we'll get a really good engagement with Boris. So getting very close to taking that engagement with him. You see the Sisters of Slaughter trying to pull down the Bright Wizard, and Boris continues to stay in melee. So I am still dealing with Jorek Grim though, which is the only reason why I haven't engaged Boris. Jorek is going to kill Morathi. It forces me to stay outside that engagement zone. You can see Jorek shooting, and again, I was even outside his range there, but he'd already had the order to fire and tag me again. I'm saving up enough Winds of Magic to get one final, what do you call it, Soul Stealer. But you can see the battle here is going to end very close. It's slightly against my team, but with this Soul Stealer, that should help a little bit pull back some of the life out of Boris. And as long as I stay outside of Jorek's range, like for instance, this Grey Wizard is chasing these cavalry here, and that's definitely a good opportunity for me. I don't think Jorek will be able to shoot me here, and we should be able to down the Grey Wizard very quickly. And he was getting rid of some crossbow riders that we desperately need, so yeah, the Grey Wizard gets wrecked. Morathi and the Master are anti-large, and then they nerf the attack of anything around them, so I was going to go for Boris again, but then the light cavalry from the Golden Order has arrived. And again, Jorek is still unchallenged back here, so I have to be very careful, as Dov has done a pretty good job of using him to kind of continually put fire on me. And then there's archers over here too. Not a lot of armor on Morathi, so all these things kind of forcing me to turn away from some engagements that I otherwise really want to take. But it kind of puts me in a tough position. At the same time, I don't really want to leave Reptile King completely undefended, but if I land over here with Morathi, it's going to be complete loss for my faction. A nice charge here from the Ravagers, doing tons of work on Jorek for me. This is really helpful to have this unit this late in the game. I did have some infantry, so I am bringing what little infantry I have back, and at this point I decide that with enough cover it is actually time to go after Boris. He doesn't get a counter charge. He has a lot of hit points, but he is fighting up against 2 units that he really does not want to be fighting. Look what it does to his melee attack, down at 29. His defense is only 31. So Boris finds himself in a bad position. And Morathi, with her speed, is going to be able to keep up with him pretty well and continue to put hits on him. Now remember, Morathi anti-large, and the Master is also anti-large. Boris is nearly dead, and we're going to be able to try and finish him while Morathi is dealing with a few Outriders who haven't spent all their ammunition. And there's a little shade support back here too, but Boris is going to be mostly out at this point. So again, though, a very tight fight. These Cold One Knights came back from routing. I had a few that came back from routing. I charged them into the archers just to get whatever kills I could get, and now my infantry should be able to attack the archers, try and take away their ammunition. And at this point, I was asking Regina, I was like, oh, please tie down Jorek so I can try and finish off some of these units. And she does. She's attacking Jorek with the chariots, and then she still has a master in the air. And then I have a master in Morathi. Balthasar is still alive. I have no idea whether he's got enough magic for a final transmutation. If he does, then I'm in huge trouble. And so some part of me is very leery of Balthasar. Even though under normal circumstances, not something to be leery of. Here we got the archers with their bleak swords. So this is good news. So again, just trying to be safe with my leadership at this point. If I throw them in and die, I'm going to throw the battle for my team, and it's been so epic. I just don't want to lose at this point. Now, Balthasar does get caught by the Crows of Cain here. Probably not enough of them left to kill him, but they'll do some damage to him. Balthasar is not going to like all that melee. Outrider's going to go for the shades. And then I want a shot at Balthasar, but still there's Outriders back here, and it's definitely got me thinking about how I want to time this engagement against Balthasar. So let's just kind of watch it. You can see how it plays out. You can see the chariots back here doing their work. Outriders are in a fantastic position. Balthasar takes off running, and rather than chase him and allow the Outriders to continue to get shots, I'm just going to dive bomb the Outriders because they won't have time to run away from me on that quick charge. And this is also going to get rid of some of their ammo. Does leave me a bit risky to get countercharged by Balthasar, but it was a risk I was willing to take because I didn't figure Balthasar would counter. And then more Outriders are brought in to try and keep my forces off of the ones that have ammo, so a great play by the Golden Order to try and save their ammo. Meanwhile, Balthasar dives down trying to save Jorek from the chariots, and there's some Dread Spears, it looks like, here as well. And then at this point, Morathi is finally free to come after Balthasar. And a very, very close victory here into really a pretty epic battle. That was fun. This was super fun. And it was Angel Crab. Sorry, I couldn't remember the name before. Angel Crab, thank you for playing with us. It was really, really great. So appreciate him being there. And like I said, he was new to the game. It's new to the game, but he came and played with us. Dov and Wicked were helping him out on the other side, so definitely appreciated them helping him get used to the game, giving him some tips on how to deploy and play with them. So tons of fun, and I love playing these battles. Go join the Discord. I'm not the only one that goes in here and plays battle. You can go in and ask other people to play battles. To me, these are some of the funnest battles. It's the ones that you're just playing with friends. You have a good time. You bring things that aren't necessarily the meta, like 1v1 type of builds, right? And it creates a lot of fun. Mistakes are made, which is inevitably what these battles kind of thrive on, right? The chaos that comes into these battles. So anyway, I don't know. That's what I enjoy about them. But thank you, Regina, Reptile, Wicked as Anna Skink, Lustria Walker, Angel Crag, and Republic of Dave here for Dov Plays. So, by the way, his channel just passed 10,000 subscribers. If you all haven't gone over and check out his channel, makes some great battle content for Warhammer 2. He's a great player in like kind of the 1v1 type competitive scene. He's a great player everywhere, but just saying that's typically the scene that he's frequenting. So good channel to watch if you want to see some of that stuff as well. But anyway, thank you all. Let's take a look at some of the troops that did the best. I thought it was interesting here that I ended up with this many kills on bleak swords. But, this was the right potential engagement for him. Otherwise, it won't show it kills, but we did get some important damage done early with the bolt throwers. I don't know that they paid for themselves, but we helped get rid of war wagons. We helped get rid of pistoliers and outriders, at least some of them. As you all can see, the more of those that would have been alive late in the game, the worse it would have been for us, right? Morathi took some horrible damage early, but came back big later in the game and was able to help down Boris, was able to help down Balthasar, was able to help get rid of a few outriders, was able to do some damage in other places, so still very useful. Earlier in the fight, she helped do a bunch of damage on some Empire captains, along with the Crows of Cain from Regina, which, speaking of which, these two units, again, aren't going to show a ton of kills either, but they did a lot of fighting against single entity units, so probably won't be represented well. Now, this Ravagers of Rekarth, this was huge. This unit here being in there late to attack Jorek, if we didn't have something like this to keep him busy, I mean, he probably could have kept Morathi away, and it would have been a big mess because he was about to kill Morathi multiple times. I was very, very worried about what he was getting done. So fun build from Regina, basically all support units, and that's typically the way she likes to play the game, is coming in with support units in these team battles. Reptile King, I felt like, was a really clutch performance in this one, because if he hadn't come in behind the Empire with that attack and started cutting through the back lines and forcing them to turn around, that this would have been lost, obviously, because my line got crushed by all the light cavalry. Tons of light cavalry. We just got absolutely slaughtered by that initial assault. And Reptiles, kind of flanking around and bringing in the rear attack here with Krone Hellebrand was definitely one of the keys to victory. 2 steam tanks falling to his shades. And then this Sisters of Slaughter accumulating 191 kills and picking up a chevron there too. Very impressive performance on their part. So definitely it was great that we had Reptile there. And then as for Wicked and his Balthasar, I love the new portrait for Balthasar, by the way, too. These Outriders, whew, these guys were terrifying the entire fight. And then this grenade launcher, it doesn't show a ton of kills here because maybe I hit it with the bolt throwers. I don't know, but this thing just ravaged the Hellebrandi, the spearmen. Oh my gosh, just absolutely ravaged that unit on my flank. We did manage to get the Empire captains before they were able to do too much, and somewhat contained his cavalry. You can see this Reichsguard still picked up some kills, but the Zentler's Reichsguard and this other one here somewhat held by my own cavalry there. But I mean, really, really great use of Balthasar there. He got a couple of final transmutations that cost a ton of damage to our team. And then the Outriders did a lot of skirmishing all throughout that. So well played by Wicked. And then Angel Crab bringing in the Emperor's Wrath. Really what was terrifying about his build to me was all these crossbowmen back there, along with the handguns. These guys were sitting back until late in the game, and I was really worried that they were going to get us. And then Boris, too, it was kind of like that cat and mouse game where, if I got charged by him in the wrong situation, he was totally going to put Morathi down. But at the same time, it was a really fun kind of back and forth game there. He was able to get a little bit of work done with his great swords, but he ended up in a tough position with them. And then, like I said, the steam tank got taken out. But his Grey Wizard really chased a lot of stuff and was causing a lot of problems too. And then very aggressive with Boris at getting rid of some of the shades. So thank you, Angel Crab, for joining us. It was really fun having you in the battles tonight. And thanks for being a part of the Discord, by the way. And then Dav, appreciate him being there too. It's always fun to have him in the battles. He's another light cavalry fanatic, and he's got his pistoliers and war wagons too. I love the just, don't leave units out, have some fun with this. So it was really cool to see him bring in the war wagons and the Huntsman General. Great combination with the Bright Wizard, by the way, because the Huntsman General has abilities that makes units weak to fire, and it can be very, very fun to throw that in there with the Bright Wizard, who did get some very nice kills by running a burning head right through the middle of that big fight. And then the Obstinite Gyrocopters, another fun unit there to throw into everything. So really enjoyed this one. Appreciate the players. Thank you to all the folks in the Discord, especially this group here tonight who's on with me. I will be frequenting there to continue to play games. I'm going to be in there to play some Halo at some point. I want to play some Firefight with the Discord. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, or maybe some Legendary Campaign co-op. And then also, of course, I say I'm going to play Halo. Of course, I'm going to continue to play Total War. I've got a lot of campaigns going. I think Gorok is next. And then I'm going to continue the other new campaigns and just try and sprinkle these battles. And if you all want your battle to be on here, feel free to play some battles. And then I have a replay thread on the Discord. Go post the replays there. I love picking up replays from the community. Would love to see what you all have. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will see you soon.